I've been skating these Ace AF1 Hollows for at least 6 weeks now, and they are still just as loose as when I first set them up. They have been really good trucks. They turn really well, they pinch really good too, but they were super squirrely as soon as I set them up, and they've never really firmed up and become any more stable. On the first session of skating these, I had to tighten the kingpin nut a half turn on each truck, hoping that would make it more stable, and then another 2 weeks later, I had to tighten them another half turn each, but still they feel just as loose as the first day I skated them. I've gotten used to how loose and squirrely they feel, so I'm a bit more accustomed to the looseness now, but I'm still getting a lot of wheel bite and I don't feel very stable when I'm going fast or trying to do any flip tricks. I've also gotten hung up a few times on square rails trying to feeble or hurricane, since the kingpin bolt is actually hanging out past the nut. So because I've had to tighten the kingpin nuts, a lot of the grinds I've been trying have been getting dug in and just throwing me. After posting my review of these trucks and talking about how squirrely and loose they felt, a lot of you guys suggested that I try the Ace Hard Bushings and swap the stock ones out for those. And today I'm going to do just that. So the stock bushings that come in the Ace trucks are their medium hardness, which has a 91A top bushing and an 86A bottom bushing. These hard bushings are both a 94A for the top bushing and the bottom bushing. So from what I've heard of people that ride Ace trucks, pretty much everyone swaps out the stock bushings for the hard bushings and says that they still turn and pinch just as good, but you get a lot less wheel bite and a lot more stability, which is exactly what I'm looking for. So I'm going to chuck these hard bushings into my trucks, cruise around here, warm up a little bit, see how they feel initially, and then get into a few tests around here to see if they perform any better and if we can make the AF1 trucks even better. I felt the difference between the stock bushings and these hard ones instantly. These feel so much firmer and so much more tight. I think they feel even more tight because I'd just gotten used to how loose and squirrely the stock bushings were. So now coming to the hard ones that are a lot more firm, these actually felt too tight at the beginning. So I'm running them just perfectly flush. The kingpin bolt and nut are sitting perfectly flush on each truck. That's as loose as I can get them without the nut falling off. And that's usually where I run my trucks most of the time, with indies, slappies, thunders. Whenever I've gotten a brand new pair of trucks, I've never changed bushings before, and I always just keep it flush on the nut there and just skate them until they wear in and become more firm. These AF1s are the first and only trucks out of my almost 20 years of skating that I've had to swap and get harder bushings for. But now that I have replaced them with the 94A harder bushings, they feel so much more stable than the stock ones. So initially, yes, it was too tight for me and it felt a bit too firm, but within that 20 minutes I just warmed up and skated around, these feel really good now. And I feel like so much more stable. It's crazy. I know I should have expected this, but I've never swapped my bushings out for harder ones, so this is just a feeling I've never felt before. So I have only been skating for 20 minutes and just getting warmed up, but I feel like the test we need to do is how they perform under speed. So try and get some speed, carve around these quarter pipes and stuff, and just see if I can still keep my control and be stable with the harder bushings. Test how the pinch is going to go on the rails and the ledges, because now that I've got the harder bushings, I don't know if it's going to be able to turn and pinch as hard. So we need to test that. But I was just testing the turn then on the flat ground, and these things turn so crazy still, and that doesn't get any wheel bite at all. So if they turn that good, I'm assuming that they're going to pinch just as good too. And I kind of rolled my ankle the other day, so I don't really want to do any flip tricks, but I did have a problem with the stock bushings when I was doing flip tricks. When I would bend down and try and get explosive pop, I just felt like at the bottom of that pop, it was a little bit too squirrely. So I'll try and do some flip tricks today, but I'm not going to do many. So the harder bushings are definitely making me feel more stable and comfortable on this setup, but let's go through all of those tests and see if we have just made these AF1s even better. So just a short session today. I didn't want to push my ankle too far, and obviously I didn't do any flip tricks because of that as well, but I feel like I got a full session to realize exactly how these perform, and these bushings in these trucks are exactly what I needed. So by the end of the session right now, I'm fully used to these trucks. At first they felt so tight because obviously I went to the harder bushings from getting used to the looser one. So it did take a while, but initially it felt like these were so stable and they'd go in a straight line. If you didn't want it to turn, it would just stay straight. But if you leant the right way and wanted to turn, it was responsive and it would come with you. Even when it came to grinding the rail, the pinches that I did were super pinched, but as soon as I unlocked the grind and popped off, I felt super stable straight away. All of the manuals were really stable too. That's another thing I noticed early on in the session. I'm not that great at transition and everything, like you guys already know, but I did feel very stable in the transition. I only did a few grinds on the quarter pipes and stuff, nothing too special, but I felt a big difference and I could tell that these are a lot more stable. I did want to end on some impact as well, as much as I could, but usually skating bigger rails or landing off big drops, I can feel I get wheel bite on the stock bushings of these. But skating the hubba and the down rail that was here, I landed super stable. Like it didn't feel like it was squirrely or I got any wheel bite at all. So this is going to be very helpful and help me a lot in the streets when I'm trying to skate handrails and film my next video part. So it was only a very quick session today, but I'm very impressed and happy with these harder bushings. And I feel like we just made the AF1 trucks much better. Thanks so much to all of you guys that recommended trying the hard bushings, because I never even would have considered that, because like I said, I've never changed out any bushings in any of my trucks ever. So I really wasn't even thinking to go down that path. I was just going to keep skating it since I was starting to get used to how squirrely these were. And I feel like I'm going to be a lot more stable from now on and be able to skate a lot better and more comfortably. If you want to know a bit more about these AF1 Hollows and see the first session of when I set them up and started skating them, then check out this video right here, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.